And we're back for it. Okay. Probably the last one I do today. So, I mentioned before in my .hack Legend of the Twilight review that I like .hack. And, well, I still haven't reordered .hack Sign. Well, that's a lie. I just reordered it because watching anything .hack related really has been putting me in the mood to re-see it. So, that's going to be a coming at some point. But there are a few other things related to it that I've had in my queue to watch. And .hack Liminality is one of them. Okay, so yeah, these are the game cases for the .hack PS2 run, Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantine. Now, Liminality is only available in the US as an extra anime disc that came with the game. So, to own all 4 parts, you had to own all 4 games. And it's 4 episodes. First one's 45 minutes, all the other ones are about 30. Now, in Japan, I believe this was re-released on its own. In the UK, it was pre-packaged with .hack Sign. 2 episodes. The .hack Sign was released in 2 boxes, and you got 2 episodes of each Liminality with it. But in the US, you had to own the games to get the DVDs, and it has not been re-released since. Now, that said, the .hack games are immensely expensive right now. And the first one's easy enough to find for around $20, but .hack Quarantine will run you anywhere for a couple hundred. So the further you get in the series, the harder the game is to get a hold of. And so owning this one is not really feasible for many people. Just kind of, especially for Quarantine, yeah, just kind of looking online, most of Quarantine runs around $300 some. So yeah, glad I picked that one up when I did. Now, Liminality takes place at the same time as the games, each episode roughly taking place about the same time as the game in question, with the final episode pretty much taking place during the final battle of Quarantine. So, the .hack video games are based largely around you're a new player in the game, and your friend, who's one of the legendary players, is kind of taking you in to explore. But he encounters something very strange in a newbie area and gets knocked into a coma, leaving you to try to go back to the game to figure out what happens. Now, Liminality follows a kind of similar thing. You're following a girl who was just introduced to the game by her boyfriend, and when doing so, he fell into a coma while she managed to escape by, essentially, she heard it coming a little bit beforehand and was able to, I guess, pull back in a way. Now, from there, after she gets out of the hospital, but he didn't, she wants to figure out what happened to him. Meanwhile, Tokuoka, a executive who used to work for CC Corp, the company that put out the game, is now trying to contact her in probably an unhealthy fashion, as he seems like a creeper stalking a high school girl at this point. He wants to know what happened so he can figure out what's going on inside the game he helped build. And from there, we get 4 episodes of existentialism as they debate what the nature of games versus reality, versus where your mind goes when you're playing a virtual thing, and the gray zone in between one world and another. So, like most .hack, it's very philosophical and gets into the deep end of things. This one follows essentially Tokuoka and 3 other players who each knew Sieg, the boyfriend of our the main character, Mai Minase. And as they try to piece together what happened, and eventually culminating in essentially a heist on one of CC Corp's data storage places to get proof of what's going on, as well as try to help guide the comatose people back to their bodies, while the main characters from the games are taking care of the entity that's causing this all to happen. So, it's a fascinating little ride, but I find this one interesting, but largely unnecessary. You don't need to see a Liminality to understand what's going on in the games, and a lot of what's going on in the games, you can kind of assume things are being taken care of for the comatose people. Even if by your actions, you don't necessarily need to know that someone else is the one making that final shift. That said, the characters in this are very likable, particularly Imai Minase, and the folklorist character Kyoko also is quite entertaining. And Tokuoka being a little bumbling, but trying his best to figure out what happened, they all play off each other very well. And I will say the heist at the end, well, the reasons for the almost a cog are a little frustrating. It is an enjoyable experience seeing them run around this place being chased by security. So, it's short, it's fun, it's all of 4 episodes, so it's kind of worth the time investment, but like I said, it is hard to track down, and I wouldn't recommend buying the games just for Liminality. The one point I will say is the soundtrack of Liminality is amazing. Each episode has its own opening theme, so they went kind of above and beyond there, and each one, it's a banger. And the ending theme is also very good, but high quality music, you come to expect that from Dot Hack. Also, a lot of the background songs that are playing in there really worked for it. So that's is another high point here. The games themselves, I really love the storyline for. Gameplay, I'm a bit 50-50 on. So, are they worth the current price tag? That's getting to be a little bit harder to justify. They did recently do a re-release for the sequel games, .hack JU, so a remastering of this one, I think, should be in the works, or I hope it would be, because right now, these are collector's items that are very hard to come by. And very expensive. Definitely, the price tag has gotten away from it. But Dot Hack, I believe, was one of the original things that kicked off the whole video game isekai subgenre. This predates its Sword Art, it predates Log Horizon. Dot Hack began, I think, in 2002 and 2003. So, a lot of things owe it kind of a nod. Alright. That's really all I got for Liminality. I'm gonna give it 5 MacGuffins. It's not groundbreaking, but it's an enjoyable enough watch. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything that really sets it apart other than having a kick in the soundtrack. But the animations looks good. The voice acting is good. It's kind of a short little side project, and that's all it's trying to be. So, don't be heartbroken if you can't find a physical copy. I'm sure you can stream it online somewhere, but if you own it, hang on to it, because these things are worth some money. Alright, that's all I got on this one. Liminality, 2002 to 2003 is the original air run. 5 MacGuffins. Alright, take care, everybody.